Decoding India's proposed multi-party delegation, a strategic move to isolate Pakistan globally following Operation Sindoor. India is shifting gears from military strikes to a diplomatic blitz aimed at globally isolating Pakistan. At the heart of this effort is a multi-pronged campaign, from official briefings at the United Nations to the proposal of sending a multi-party delegation abroad. India is pushing a unified, evidence-backed narrative on Pakistan's sustained sponsorship of cross-border terrorism. While Indian officials are engaging counterparts across the globe, the possibility of sending a multi-party delegation to various foreign nations is also being actively considered, government sources told CNN News 18. The proposed move marks a strategic escalation. The idea is to show the world that India's position is not driven by one political party, but represents a national consensus on the threat of terrorism emanating from Pakistani soil. Such a delegation would not just represent India's policy stance, it would serve as a people's voice articulating the nation's suffering, history, and evidence before foreign legislatures, think tanks, and media. India has suffered attacks across administrations from Kargil 1999 and the Parliament attack 2001, to Mumbai 2611 and Pulwama. Parties now in opposition were in power when Pakistan-backed groups carried out these attacks. The idea behind a multi-party delegation is to allow leaders from across the aisle to present this shared institutional memory to the world. This will make it harder for critics to dismiss India's stand as partisan or ideological. Pakistan has long tried to frame India's counter-terrorism narrative as a communal or nationalist project. To counter this perception, faces from the opposition like Asaduddin Owaisi could help dismantle that charge and show that India's response to terrorism is not religion-driven but nationally unified. Likewise, figures like Shashi Tharoor with their global reach and diplomatic credibility could be impactful in conveying India's case to foreign capitals. Such voice, if included, would significantly strengthen India's messaging. Even as plans for the multi-party visit take shape, India's diplomatic push is already underway in New York. On Thursday, an Indian delegation met top officials of the UN Office of Counter-Terrorism (UNOCT) and the Counter-Terrorism Committee Executive Directorate. Key discussions focused on implementing UN Security Council resolutions, supporting victims of terrorism, and cutting terror financing. India is specifically lobbying to get the Resistance Front (TRF), a Lashkar-Taiba proxy behind the Pahalgam massacre, designated as an unlisted terror outfit. Though the Security Council condemned the April 22 attack in the strongest terms, it did not mention TRF as the group responsible for the attack. Indian teams are now preparing to brief the 1,267 Sanctions Committee with a dossier that may include digital intercepts, money trails, satellite imagery, and technical linkages connecting TRF to Let-in camps in Bahawalpur and Muridka, which were targeted in Operation Sindoor. Meanwhile, sources also said that India briefed Defence Etica copyright from over 70 countries, providing them with details and timelines of the planning process, strikes, and confirmed terror linkages of the locations hit in Operation Sindoor. The Defence Etica copyright were shown solid proof, including satellite images, technical data, and assessments. Notably, China, Pakistan's principal backer, was not invited to the briefing. Turkey was invited but denied access after it attempted to downgrade representation by sending a junior official. India's campaign goes beyond media optics. By backing diplomatic assertions with hard intelligence, India is building a case not only for global condemnation but also to push Pakistan back onto the FATF grey list. The presence of a multi-party delegation would amplify these efforts, showing that India's stand is not just governmental but democratic and bipartisan. Swipe left for next video. This evolving strategy from UN outreach to the proposed international delegation signals the seriousness with which India views cross-border terrorism. It also reframes the post-Operation Sindoor phase as not merely military retaliation, but a coherent narrative war where every diplomatic lever is being pulled to ensure global accountability for Pakistan-sponsored terror. Latest blogs.